Alright, so we're on a highway that's 4 lanes, 2 in each direction, and there's a school. We're passing a couple of apartment buildings, and there's a school bus that stops at each of the 2 apartment buildings. And so we're all in the left lane waiting for the school bus has its red lights flashing on the right. And then the school bus starts going up to, turns off those lights, goes up to the next one. There's quite a bit of distance in between the 2, and we all know the school bus is going to stop and turn on the red lights again at the next place. Now, my reaction to that situation, I think, is the right one. Get past the school bus before it stops again, and that way you don't have to stop and wait for all the kids to get on the bus. But this car in front of us is like hovering like right alongside of the school bus, like waiting, is like, the red light's gonna turn on now. What about now? What about now? It's like, just go! All I'm saying is that if you're gonna be driving, you should know very basic road etiquette, like get around the school bus before the lights go on. So we've gone a few weeks now where we have our theme music by the TechnoFunkBoy in place. If y'all have been watching the video and saw the little tag at the end of each episode that the theme is by the TechnoFunkBoy, you probably are wondering who in the world are these people. I've never heard of them. And no, you probably haven't. TechnoFunkBoy actually started as what I call a junk drawer band. For me, it's where I put songs that really didn't fit with the other stuff I was doing. When I'd have a good idea for something and it doesn't really mesh with my normal style. And so when I record, I typically do rock to hard rock type of a thing. But I also really like techno dance music, electronica stuff. I like kind of experimenting with like game music type sounds because just growing up on that stuff, I was addicted to it. And when you're putting that on a collection with other rock songs, it just doesn't go. It's really jarring. And so I created TechnoFunkBoy to kind of put that stuff in. And so if you go back to the video I did where I was picking a theme song, you're going to hear everything on that is me doing something. And the more rock-based stuff is typically under my name, and the more electronica-based stuff is typically under the name of the TechnoFunkBoy. So I'll probably get into the history of the band a little bit more, but it is a virtual band. I imagined it as kind of bit characters from various video games, not like Mario or Link that you would be seeing all the time or even had a name in the game, but I just imagine that some of those characters you see wandering around the town that don't have a name, or in the background somewhere, just the random villager, that some of those guys were musicians that got together and formed this band. And each one comes from a different video game that I really liked as a kid. The leader of the band comes from the Zelda games, and then someone from the Mario games and Final Fantasy and Contra and Mega Man. So when we have more time, we'll go into their stories a little bit, but that's kind of how that turned out. So I did an EP that was kind of a blend of game music, reformed rap, and a little bit of rock, in there, and I really enjoyed it. And then I released, under TechnoFunkBoy's name, a series of techno dance remixes to Final Fantasy music, which Final Fantasy music has always been a really great favorite of mine. And I actually recorded that like 10 years ago. And after 10 years of it being pretty regular rotation in my collection, whether, you know, originally on CD or now on my iPod, where I've been listening to it very regularly. I was actually looking at my play counts, and that's the most often listened to album in my collection. I decided, you know what, I really need to release this. It was, since it's not my original compositions, I was really just doing it for fun to give out to friends who had similar interests as me. But I was like, you know what, we need to put this out. And so I went ahead and did all the stuff I was supposed to do, get the rights to the songs, and then released them. And now they're on CD Baby and iTunes, and I'll put the links down there, and so you can check it out. But really, really enjoyed doing that. So even though my website and even this YouTube channel has some original music that I've done under my own name, it's now reached the point where most of the stuff I have released publicly is under the name of the TechnoFunkBoy, and I'm actually having more fun doing that than the stuff that I consider really my music. And that's why when I was trying to think of a theme song, I was in my head going, you know, I should let the TechnoFunkBoy do this one, and I think they would do a good job at it. And I really seriously do think of them as a separate entity, not in any real way. I know they're made up. Don't call the authorities or anything. But when I'm planning out music and all, I really am thinking, okay, what would this character be playing at this point? And making sure that the music is staying true to their personalities and their own styles, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about that. But in the meantime, I wanted to take the opportunity to kind of introduce them a little bit, since you hear them every time you pull up one of my videos, and I'll put some links down in the description box, and check them out and see what you think. And as always, please do subscribe. We had a lot of fun. Melvin and I had a lot of fun doing that video yesterday, and so we're going to continue doing that. There's going to be more memories of games gone by, and more Star Wars talk, and I also want to do some videos about writing my new book, and also a little bit about the previous book that I released, and I hope you enjoy it.